Hey everybody, it's Jim here, and a month ago, almost exactly to the day, Fender announced the new 2022 range of guitars, and within that was the 60th Anniversary Jaguar, my personal favorite. I'm a huge fan of offset guitars. You can see behind me the Jaguar being the one that I hold the dearest. I had a 50th Anniversary Jaguar, so I'm really excited to get this guy on the bench, have a close look at it, and see what it's all about. And just to clear this up, once again, this guitar was not provided to me. Nobody hooked me up with this. I spent my own hard-earned money to buy this guitar. So, I can be as honest as I want to be, and that's the beauty of this channel. Let's get started. Alright, the first thing we have to address here is this finish. This finish is, for me, absolutely amazing. It's very sparkly, much more so than I had anticipated. I think this is a good match for a flashy guitar like this. I'm not so sure how good of a match the tortoise pickguard is for it though. I think if you're going for something this over the top, maybe a perloid would have been a better choice from Fender, but that's a minor kind of personal preference detail here. We have a traditional Jaguar setup as far as the electronics and everything like that go. One thing that I am noticing right now is it says that this has pure vintage 65 Jaguar pickups, and that is not what Fender says this has. If you go to Fender's website, I'm sure I'll post the thing on the screen right now. This says it was supposed to come with 60th anniversary voiced pickups. Are these bad pickups? No, I've used these a bunch in the past, and they're the ones that come standard on the American vintage 65 Jaguar and the American original Jaguars. So I know they're good, it's just that's not exactly what I was expecting. And if you're somebody who's not familiar with Jaguars, I'm going to go over the switching really quick here. This controls the rhythm circuit, so when this is up, all of these controls are bypassed. They will no longer function, and you'll only have these two little wheels. One is a volume pot, one is a tone pot that controls the neck pickup. Put that down. Now these guys are going to be your sound makers, so to speak. If all of them are in this position down, you're not going to get any noise. That's totally normal. This selects the neck pickup. This selects the bridge pickup. This is known as a strangle. It's a low cut filter, so it kind of gives it a little bit more of an edgy tone, but it's a Jaguar. Some people love it. For me, I don't find myself using it that much, and obviously if you wanted to, both of those up engages both of the pickups. This guitar is equipped from the factory with a mute and the vintage style bridge. These are both adjustable, but perfect. No issues with that. Moving on to the vibrato system itself here. When they come from the factory, they can be pretty tight. Oh, that's really tight. Okay, this is not like the custom shop. The custom shop, I can already kind of move around. But this isn't a big problem, and it's not a flaw, because when they come from the factory, they're always going to be tighter. It's going to loosen up over time with usage, so really non-factor for me. And while we're here, I figured you might want to see some of the case candy that comes along with it. You get a black bag. That's not too uncommon. I think even the American Professionals come with that. You get the bridge cover, which is nice, an Allen key to adjust the bridge height, a Fender sticker, basically how to deal with a nitro finish if you've never dealt with one of those before, and then kind of the warranty stuff and the certificate of authenticity. And speaking of that certificate of authenticity, this has a 2021 serial number on it, so this must have been made pretty late last year. Now moving on to the neck of this guitar, you have a 7 1/4 inch rosewood board with a bound neck and the block inlays. The fret ends are pretty smooth on this guitar. I actually think the PRS was a little bit smoother, if I'm being a little honest with you guys. That's a little surprising. But obviously, this headstock is absolutely stunning in person. Again, it really pops with the right lighting and the sparkle in this Lake Placid blue, the Mystic Lake Placid blue finish. Let's check the frets. Alright, the frets are like 99% level here. There was a little bit of a height issue on this fret right there, only towards the high E string and in between that and the A string. But other than that, this thing is good to go, and this is a minor adjustment. This is normal. This happens for guitars in all sorts of price ranges. It's not just something that happens with the lower price guitars. Even on a guitar like this, that can happen. Now, if you're curious about the actual neck thickness of this guitar, this is a C66 neck, and I have the custom shop Jaguar that is 0.82 at the first fret and 0.9 at the 12th fret. This is definitely noticeably beefier than that, playing them back to back. So if I had to guess, probably somewhere around 0.85, 0.86 at the first fret and 0.96, 0.97-ish at the 12th fret. Again, totally guesstimating, but I play enough of these guitars where I'm pretty good at getting close into the ballpark. So just thought I'd share that information, since we're not going to be removing the strings and we're going to be going right into the demo section after this. Alright guys, so that's our up close look on this. There's no other real finish imperfections on this guitar. This is what you expect when you're spending this kind of money on a Fender. And I'm really excited to get to play this guitar. It's got a decent weight to it. It's about average for a Jaguar. It's a little less than my custom shop. That's 8 pounds 13 ounces. This one is 8 pounds 10 ounces. So it shouldn't be a big variance in terms of the feel as far as that goes. But the important stuff is yet to come. Let's plug it in and see what it sounds like. Okay, things got a little out of hand and out of character for me at the end there. I apologize. There was just something about this guitar that really wanted to make me try and play some really sloppy legato. Alright, I tried to demonstrate the general tones that you might be able to expect should you pick up one of these guitars. Now I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on this specific Jaguar. This has a great neck on it. I like how beefy it is, but for some people, I could see them not liking it. I don't have really big hands, and I still think it's really comfortable, but some people prefer a more modern, thinner neck. This guitar will not be for you, especially once you start getting up around the 9th and the 12th fret in that area. You feel the beefiness of the neck. It feels much more almost like a Les Paul Standard 50s in that sense. Not quite as big, but it's definitely close enough where you're like, ooh, this has got a little bit extra to it. I like it. When it comes to the tones themselves, it's on par with the American originals because it has the same electronics and it has the same pickups. So nothing really out of the ordinary with that. This guitar does have a few different appointments from one of the American originals if you were considering one of those. Obviously, you get the matching headstock on these ones, the red one and the blue one. You get the block inlays. Those are not available on the American originals, although they do have the binding on the neck on those, which is a nice touch. That's pretty much it. I mean, you have the exclusive finishes for these that were never available and to my knowledge won't be available because that line is discontinued on the American originals. I love the 7¼ inch radius neck on Jaguars. I actually prefer it to the 9½, and I don't know, it's just something about these guitars. It just feels right for me in my hands. And it's not the case for every guitar. Some of them I like a little bit of a flatter radius, like my custom shop Telecaster. I really like that. I like that having it a 9½, but this one, it really hits the sweet spot for me with 7¼ traditional radius. Now, fortunately, there's not a lot to say in terms of the playability outside of it plays great. This guitar was set up pretty well out of the box. Only had to do a little bit of minor tweaking here and there, and it held tuning at a pretty reasonable standard. I mean, considering that this trim is really tight and I'm used to being able to flip the thing around, I was pulling a little bit harder than normal trying to get it into positions that I would use it in, and that was kind of causing some tuning issues. But over the long haul, as this breaks in, it's not really something that is a major concern of mine. Now, one thing I've seen as a constant kind of complaint with people when it comes to these 60th anniversary Jaguars is the price at $24.99. First of all, good luck finding a blue one right now. I don't know many shops that are even taking orders for the blue ones. I think they might have all sold out. All the ones that I'm seeing available right now new are the red ones. So yeah, if you can find a blue one, I saw one just sell this morning for more than the retail $24.99 plus shipping on Reverb. So these might become a bit more desirable if you find one at a reasonable price or even just the standard $2,500 flat from a shop. I wouldn't hesitate to do it. I think that this is going to do pretty well in terms of holding its value in the blue specifically. Now, you think about the American originals, and this is where people are complaining about the price jump here. About 8 months ago, those things were $19.99, then they crept up to $20.99. I saw about 2 weeks ago, Dave's Guitar Shop got in a surf green American original Jaguar. That was $22.50. So I'm not sure what the new line that's replacing the American originals is going to cost, what kind of specs it's going to have on it. That might be a $2,400 guitar or a $2,500 guitar. So right now, this might seem like a little bit more, but this won't be nearly as mass produced. So it's going to do better as far as retaining some of its value and possibly even accruing a value. I keep hitting that point home, but when you're spending this kind of money on instruments at this point, especially new, because the used market's not going to be kind of flush with bargains for these kinds of models, you have to consider these things. But my final thoughts on this guitar are, it's definitely as good as advertised, and to me, I think I can understand the pricing enough. Obviously, I purchased it at the normal pricing, so I didn't see a huge deal when it came to that, especially given how things just keep going up, and that doesn't matter if it's guitars, amps, cars, houses, the whole world's going crazy. So maybe in a year or so, this might seem like a steal of $2,500. I'm not sure, but if you could get your hands on one of these guitars, I definitely would recommend checking them out. I know a lot of people that love Jaguars. We were some of the first ones to scoop them up when they became available because we know the scarcity, and having had a 50th anniversary and regretting selling that, to be able to get one in a very similar color, albeit a little bit more modern, it was just a no-brainer for me. But later on this week, we're going to be doing the real deal comparison. It's something I'm very interested in. I'm going to be doing an in-depth head-to-head with this guitar versus the Custom Shop 63 Jaguar that has been basically my main guitar since I've had that guitar. I really love it, and I think to date it's probably the best Jaguar that I've ever gotten to play. I'd like to see how this guy does with a back-to-back comparison. I haven't really been playing that one today, so I can't really give initial comments. But if you like this video, please leave a like. I really appreciate all of your guys' support. Leave me a comment. Let me know you think the price is too high. Let me know if it's just right for you, or if you're interested in any of these kind of models. There are a ton of the Ultra Luxes, so you don't have to worry about those going out of stock anytime soon if that's a model you're into. Also, the red ones, again, still available. The blue ones, they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough. And that's part of the reason that led me to choose this color to begin with. But I will see you tomorrow, probably for the Audiomo podcast. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you then. Take it easy, everybody.